Let's do. All right. Hello. Welcome to my booked and busy social media workshop for dancers. I am so excited that you are here in this space with me to learn and really prepare for the new year, which is in a couple of weeks. I did another call earlier today, and I'm so shocked that we're already in December. 2024 is wrapping up, and we are already gearing up for 2025. So little introduction on myself. Hi, my name is Jean-Marie Branch. I am the founder and CEO of Releve Marketing. Releve Marketing is a social media and digital marketing agency built specifically for the dance industry. So, a little bit about my story. I started dancing when I was around 3 years old. I took tap and jazz, and I took a break simply because the studio I was I'm not teaching, I teach now sometimes. The studio I was dancing at and training at closed down. So I took a pretty long break, but I found dance again in my teens. So from those ages, the teenage years, I took it much more seriously, and then I went on to pursue it in college. So I graduated college with a BA in dance and a BA in communication at the University of Tampa. So throughout my studies in college, throughout my college career, I knew I always wanted to combine the two, and I always had this idea, oh my gosh, the dance industry needs a marketing agency or a social media agency specifically for the dancers, whether it's for studios, individual dancers looking to grow their business or their individual brand, and all the little pockets of the industry, because it just fascinated me how many things go on behind the scenes that aren't really like on stage. I'll use that metaphor because there's so many things you see when you put on a show, but backstage there's a million things going on. And that's just how I see the industry too. There's so many pockets, there's so many components, and there's so many businesses and brands that contribute to how amazing this dance community and this dance industry is. So throughout my college and as I was getting closer to graduation, that's kind of when I started to feel that little pre-grad panic. So I believe it was like shortly right after COVID. I believe I graduated in 2021, so a couple years ago already. But the dance world wasn't really open yet, and I was just a little hesitant on what I wanted to pursue, if it made sense to audition for things. Things still weren't fully open and available to me yet. So I was applying for jobs, I wasn't getting through with some things, and then I ended up getting a job with Dance Ed Tips. So that's where all things started. And Dance Ed Tips is a wonderful, wonderful business for dance educators if you want to check them out, and giving them a little plug here as well. But that's where things started for me. People started to notice me on their social media account as their social media girl with their content and just trying a bunch of new things, hopping on those trends and seeing the results in real time, from follower growth to likes, shares, comments, all the engagements that we love to see on social media. People started to find me and reached out to me personally, and that's when I knew, and that's when I decided I needed to go all in on this crazy idea I had. And that's when Releve Marketing really started and really began to take off. So enough about me. Let's get into this workshop and why you are here. So the workshop objectives, we have three objectives in total. So the first one is to learn how to create concrete, social media goals for 2025 and break it down into actionable steps. The second objective is to review simple content strategies to really grow and grow your reach and showcase your skills authentically on social media. And then the third objective is to learn how to create a personal brand that attracts more opportunities within the dance industry. Now, grab a drink. It is after 6 p.m. here in Florida, so I have an energy drink. It's been a long day. And I have some water, so if you have a drink or a snack, and then I encourage you to have a pen, pencil, sheet of paper, or somewhere where you can take notes, because we're going to do a lot of literal workshopping on this call today. So let's get started. Number one, social media goals for 2025. We're going to use the SMART goal process. I know you've probably heard about this before, maybe you've done this already before, but I think this is a really great tactic and strategy to really hone in on each individual goal and really like hyper focus on how you are going to get there. So, SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So, when we workshop and create these SMART goals, we're going to align these goals with your dance career aspirations, whether it's building a community online, booking opportunities, gaining sponsorships, getting brand partnerships, whatever you want to align with your dance career, and especially with your dance career on social media, these goals and workshopping through these is what's going to help you actually achieve them and get there. So, a little breakdown on what SMART goals are and how we can workshop this together. So let's start with S, specific, making sure that your goals are specific. So here you clearly want to define what you want to achieve. So some questions you want to answer with this is, what do I want to accomplish? Why is this goal important? Or who is involved for me reaching this goal? So an example of this, of being specific, is I want to post one dance video on Instagram every week to grow my following. Moving on to M, measurable. This includes criteria to track progress and measure your success. So a question you want to answer here is, how will I know I've accomplished this goal? So using the same example that we have with S, with making sure that goal is specific, the example here for the measurable, for how measurable it is I will track engagement on my content, which are things like likes, comments, shares, to really see the overall improvement of where you stand on social media. Moving on to A, achievable. You want to ensure that the goal is realistic based on your current abilities and the current resources that you have around you. Also, not noted here with abilities and resources, I want to note, like, being realistic with the life that you have right now. What commitments do you have? Do you have kids? Do you have other jobs? Are you a dance studio owner? Are you a company owner? So what other commitments make up your life right now? So when you structure these goals, you really want to make sure that it is achievable and realistic for your life right now. So a question or a couple questions that you want to answer for this is, can you realistically achieve this, again, with your current schedule, skills, tools, resources, and other commitments that you have? So for example, I can dedicate 2 hours per week to creating and editing my videos for social media. Moving on to R of SMART will be relevant. You want to make sure that these goals align with your overall objectives and career aspirations. So some questions you want to answer for this letter of SMART is, why is this goal important to me? And does it actually support my dance career? So an example for this will help me showcase my skills, broaden my reach, and attract more followers. And the last letter of SMART is T, which is time bound. So you want to set a deadline to stay focused, stay accountable, and stay motivated. So questions you want to answer here in this letter, in this component of setting a SMART goal, is, when will I achieve this goal? What are the short-term milestones? So for example, I will start posting videos weekly by January 1st and achieve 10 consistent posts by March 15th. So this is a pretty detailed breakdown of how we create goals for ourselves at Releve, for our clients, and how you can create goals for yourselves as well when it comes to your social media, whether you have a business, a brand, or you're looking for a place to start. I always recommend setting a goal and working backwards from it. So part of this workshop, we are going to do some goal mapping together. So this is our first activity in this workshop. We are going to brainstorm, or I want you to brainstorm and write down some of your own goals for 2025. And I want you to dig deeper using the SMART method. And I'll tap back to the previous slide before, because I know there was a lot of information on that one. And I would love for you to share some of these goals when you are done. So I'm going to give you a few minutes, kind of jot down and go through the SMART of SMART and really break down and dig deep with your social media goals. I am going to mute so you have some time as well, and pop back on here in a few minutes. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop it in the chat or unmute, and I'm more than happy to help you there. How's it going? Are you kind of halfway through or?
I'm good.
All right, are you willing to share some of your goals for 2025?
Yeah, I kind of liked the idea of posting like a trick or a video each month, and in kind of keeping with the theme of paralleling my two businesses, post a different color of rhinestone each week,
Okay, I love
knowing that I
that.
can get both of those done with the time that I have. And I figure if I use my Sundays when I do a lot of privates to video that day, 5 to 6 tricks, then that gives me 5 to 6 days there. And then on Monday, I can edit every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love seeing this progress already. All right, moving on. So, creating goals is something like you can keep doing all the time. I just think it's a perfect time to do so. With the new year coming in, I mean, it's a pretty common theme for the year, but it's usually really good to revisit these goals, whether it's month by month or quarterly. I personally do month by month and quarterly as well from a business standpoint, just to really track and see what's going on. And for clients too that we work with at our agents at this agency, we do monthly as well. So with that, we have our goals and we also track the numbers there. So like in M for measurable, I'll track the engagement on my content. So those likes, comments and shares. Those are things that we actively track as well to really see if our content and if our social media strategy is headed in the right direction. Okay, moving on. So we've done our first activity, goal mapping. Second is our content strategies. So this is when it comes to social media and marketing in general, you really need a strategy when it comes to your content. You can't just really post and hope for the best, and you also just can't post and ghost. So that means when you just post content and suddenly drop off of social media for a while and then come back on and then want to know, wait, why aren't things working? It's because you weren't consistent. So having a content strategy also ensures that you are consistent on social media, whether it's posting every day, twice a day, or twice a week, sorry, 3 times a week, whatever consistency looks like to you. Again, going back to what I mentioned earlier, making sure that these goals and also now your content strategy and what you are posting, when you're posting, truly aligns with your life and all the other commitments and all the other things you have going on, because it can get and feel overwhelming. So with that being said, some of the best content that works for dancers. So this will be content like performance clips, excuse me, rehearsal moments, tutorials, behind the scenes content, and I want you to dig even deeper because this is starting to get kind of common as well. So how can you, as an artist, as a creative individual, as a dancer in this industry, how can you dig deeper? How can you create content that is a little bit more unique to you, to your business, to your brand? And I want to note too that content is always changing, so I encourage you to always try new things and be ready to adapt. I mentioned something today and yesterday on Relevé's Instagram that social media kind of feels dead right now, and I don't know why. There's so many things going on. There's the holiday season. We had so many things going on in November in the country, in the world. So many elements happening. Black Friday seemed like it tanked a little bit. So there's so many elements to consider when it comes to social media, but when we come through, when we experience little dips in social media, this is a great time for you to keep going, maintain that consistency, and just try new things. So this is a great time to test, see what works, what doesn't work, see what resonates with people. Maybe you are reaching a different audience than you initially intended you would reach. So things like that are really important to consider when it comes to your overall content strategy as well. The 3 platforms I recommend you prioritize in 2025 will be Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. Now, I know content in general, the idea of it seems overwhelming, but one thing that we do, one strategy and one tactic that is so effective, and we often have to remind people of what's available to them, is it is okay to repurpose content from one platform onto another, because every platform now is that vertical video, those reels that you're seeing on Instagram and even on Facebook too. That's what's present on TikTok, that's what's working, and it's now what is on YouTube Shorts. So one single video that you edit for Instagram, you can easily repurpose onto these other 2 platforms as well. It's a little time consuming, but if you really want to start expanding your reach, I highly, highly recommend repurposing and reposting onto these platforms. It's really gonna build that momentum that you are looking to really stand out and grow on social media. And I want to remind you of how important consistency is, as we're chatting about here right now, but quality over quantity. So, like I said earlier, content can feel overwhelming, and there's so many social media gurus that are on Instagram and on other social media platforms that recommend, for optimal growth, for ultimate growth on social media. If you want like thousands of followers, you have to post 3 times a day, every single day, 7 days a week. And that is exhausting and so unrealistic. So tying back to your goals that you've created, what is realistic for your content? And I always ask clients this, I always ask people that I coach this, what is realistic for your life right now? Is it posting on stories only? Is it posting Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Is it posting Tuesday, Thursday? So really dig deep into your calendar of life and see what is actually realistic for you to post and to create content and publicize that content onto social media, because it doesn't need to be this everyday overwhelming rush type of thing. It can be whatever consistency means for you, and that is what truly matters, that you're showing up consistently in a way that works for you right now, where you are right now. So, like I said, posting more doesn't necessarily mean you get more. So posting more, people do it, but on the back end, are they really getting the traction? Are they really getting the results? Are they really actually hitting the goals that they set for themselves? Another thing to note with your content strategies is to engage with your audience with your captions and your calls to action. So in the marketing world, this is called a CTA. So a common call to action might be follow for more, like this post, share this post with someone who needs to hear it. And lately we've been seeing a lot of, and we've been using a lot of the comment strategy. So people will comment an emoji or a certain word, and they automatically get something in their DM and for them to open, for them to join an email list, for them to download or purchase something. So those are some simple strategies to really keep your audience engaged with your content. So I'm going to pause here again. We have another activity, a mini content plan creation session. So I want you to brainstorm some content ideas and just plan 1 week of content with these ideas. So what does this look like? Really map it out and map out what will you post on what day and what exactly is that post going to be. And I want you to remind yourself, remember, to consider what consistency looks like. So if 1 week of content is just 2 days, sure. If 1 week is every day, great for you. If it's 3 days a week, if it's a certain time during a day, really start honing in on and understand like when is it realistic for you to be posting. And a reminder, I'll say it again, you don't have to post daily. Figure out a schedule that works for you. So while you're workshopping this, I'm going to mute again, give you a couple minutes, and then we can share. Give you probably 1 or 2 more minutes before you share. All right, start wrapping things up. A couple more seconds, and then if you want to unmute and share what your rough drafted content plan, content ideas looks like for you right now.
So as I was doing it, I was looking at maybe doing like a trick of the week. If I'm only going to post like one trick or trying to decide on how I'm going to do it. But I could do like a Valdez. And then maybe the second, if I'm going to post 3 times a week, then the second video, maybe a breakdown of how to do the trick. And then the third time during the week is like combos with it, like Valdez into back handspring, Valdez into back walkover, one hand Valdez,
Great. I
things
love
like
that.
that.
That's a really simple strategy just broken down. So you have the one thing and just break it down during the week. I think that's a really smart strategy and a great place to start as well.
Perfect.
Awesome. Anything else before we keep moving forward? All right. Oh, I have a little break scheduled. So if you want to take like a couple minutes, get a sip of water, and then we'll tune back in. I'm gonna give a few more minutes and then we'll get into the last bits of this workshop. All right, let's keep moving forward. We have a couple more slides left and then Q&A. Okay, so the third component of this workshop is learning how to build your personal brand. So the first question I want to answer is, what is a personal brand? So this is what makes you you. So it's your unique combination of skills, values, and personality that comes all together on social media. So a few things for you to consider when it comes to building out your personal brand on social media. And this also applies to other brands, other businesses, and other things that you have on social media as well that you're looking to increase your presence and just elevate it a little bit more. So one thing to consider is a consistent visual style. So things like colors, fonts, aesthetics. I'll use Relevate as an example. We are a pink brand. So I have a lot of pink in my office. I have my logo here. I have fonts on this slide. I have branding on this slide. I'm wearing a pink shirt. I try to stay on brand when I am on video. So little subtle things like that is what's going to start creating that consistency again and consistent visual style for your social media. And when it comes to social media, when you are consistent with these details, that's what they are, that's when people start to notice you. And when you start growing your following and you start really elevating your presence, people will know, oh, she's posting because they recognize your font, they recognize a certain look that you've been consistent with, they recognize the pink, they recognize the color. So those little things are so important when it comes to building your personal brand on social media. The second thing to consider is your authenticity in your content and in your captions. So I think I mentioned it earlier, but we are walking away from the fluffy type of content, the over edits, the filters, all of those things. People at the end of the day want to know that there is a human behind the other screen. We want to see genuine content, and especially people want to feel heard, they want to feel seen, and they want to be related to. So this is when authenticity comes in, and I see it all the time. I can probably tell an authentic brand from a non-authentic brand from the get-go just based on their vibes and what they are saying in their content. I can kind of tell when someone is BSing me or not on social media. So it's really important to stay consistent with the authenticity, really stand out. Again, we mentioned standing out earlier, like what makes you so unique? What makes you you? And this comes with how you speak, what your values are, your opinions in the industry. There's so many opinions in this dance industry, and it could feel very out of your comfort zone. But once you do that, you'll realize, oh, you'll have people who actually agree with you. Granted, you will also have people who don't agree with you, but that is also a sign of growth on social media when you have those disagreements and you use them in a professional manner to keep growing your personal brand on social media. So, and the last thing to consider, which I kind of just touched on, is what sets you apart. In such a big industry, it is so, I always say that the dance industry is such a big industry, but it's so small at the same time because when you work in this industry, in this community, you know so many people, they realize, oh, they know you, I know her, and just the web just gets so connected. And I think it's so beautiful. It's one of my favorite things in the dance industry also. So when you are in the midst of so much talent, so much skills, you really want to think about what sets you apart from the others, because there's going to be similar talents, there's going to be similar looks, there's going to be similar businesses. What makes you set apart? Why are you so unique? So if you are a choreographer, what is something about your creative process or how you choreograph things or your methodology? Is there something in there in your process, in your method to your madness that makes you unique and stand out from others in the crowd? As a business owner, what is so unique about your company? Why should people train with you, perform with you? Why do people come to you? What really sets you apart from other similar companies and studios just like yours? So really take the time to consider these things when it comes to building out a professional personal brand on social media. So our last activity is a little brand audit. I would love you to review your current social media profile or someone else's and identify 3 areas you think you can improve on. So whether it's like a bio update, maybe the highlights are a little dated, maybe you've noticed there's no consistency with colors or fonts. take note of those things and see what three key areas you can improve on to get the momentum going to really building out this personal brand. Some questions you want to ask yourself: is there a consistent visual style like we talked about? Is your content authentically you, or are you copying others? I know it's so easy to see something you like and kind of morph it into your own and maybe even copy the caption. I've seen it. But maybe if you have done it, that's okay. That's why you're here. You're here to learn and you're here to improve. But really see if your captions are authentically you. How, if they're not authentically you, how can you start morphing the language between your business and your brand and how you speak and how that bleeds into your personal brand or your business on social media. And then the third thing to consider is, why is your content so unique? So just the bullets that we have briefly discussed here. Take a few minutes again. This is our last activity. Do a little brand audit and come back and share your takeaways and what you have noticed. Give you about 1 more minute and then we can discuss. Ready to share? All right, you can go ahead and unmute. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
So on mine, I know I've done a little bit of adjusting on how I'm doing some of my classes and stuff. So I do need to update on my social media on what I'm focusing on. So that definitely needs to be updated. I also do need a new headshot. Um, and probably adjust my bio because I don't think that's been
Gotcha.
updated for a while. So I mean, that's just three things right there that tie back to like my website and
Right.
stuff. So I definitely need to work on those.
Great. Yeah. I love action steps and even like incorporating this into your overall goals that we set in the beginning of this workshop too. How can you incorporate that just to make sure to keep yourself accountable as well too, and make sure that you're doing all the little things, because there's so many components of social media, but all the little things that continue to help elevate your business and your brand on social media and really get you to where you want to be. So I'm glad that you already quickly audited your social media and see what things you need to change. And it's good to keep things updated. This is something that we do every couple months, every 6 months, and also every year, just kind of auditing our social media ourselves. And it's a good practice to keep, things start to look dated. There's always these updates on social media that you should be keeping up with to make sure that your account continues to stay relevant as things continue to change. So, last but not least, so how can you be booked and busy? So when all three of these components simultaneously work together on social media, that is when the magic happens. So when you have goals and you set them, when you work on your personal branding, and when you have a strong foundation of content strategies, this is when things start to work in your favor. Now, Success and growth on social media takes time, especially if you're doing it organically, which is why I always recommend the best time to start is now. And I know we get hesitant. Okay, how do I do this? How do I do this? I need a fancy camera. I need all these resources. No. The best way to start is to just start. Start messy, start scrappy. Messy action is the best action. And that is personally one of my greatest lessons that I've learned this year in 2024 because I love my list. I love organization. I love to be clean and perfect, but that doesn't exist. So taking messy action has been one of my biggest takeaways from the year, and now something I am relaying to you. It's also not an end all be all solution. So things, like I said, takes time. Think for the momentum to really take off and for all the work that you are doing on the back end to really hold yourself accountable to your goals and make sure that you are consistent and committed with your content strategy and you're actively doing things behind the scenes to improve your personal brand. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes energy, but when you actually commit to it, that's when you start seeing the results, whether it's booking a gig or connecting with someone on the other side of the world, or really just maybe you have something that you want to launch yourself, whether it's a program, a course, a resource. This is how you can be booked and busy. So this is simply just one part of what makes up your dance career, but it can truly take it to the next level when you hone in on your social media and you take it seriously. And I encourage you, now is the best time to start. Um, and I think 2025 is just going to be another great year of social media and everyone just being on there. And it's so important that you stand out and start doing these things now so you are ready and you have that strong foundation to level up next year and achieve these goals that you have created. Now, I announced these on social media last week, but I'm so excited. I have some new resources for you, for dancers and also dance businesses to get started on social media. So this is our social media kickstart kit for dancers. So it has 6 step-by-step guides to help build a standout online presence as a dancer. So I'm going to break down what is inside. So we have our captions that connect. So this is a really great resource to learn how to write captions that reflect your personality, connect with your audience, and inspire engagement. So we teach you our 3-step methodology in this resource that we use for ourselves and for our clients. That's really simple and really effective. Next is our Booked and Busy bio guide. Just like this workshop, Booked and Busy, a strong social media bio can really make or break your social media account. So in this resource, you'll learn how to create a bio that speaks directly to people in the dance industry and really transform it into a magnet for opportunities that match your talent or what you have to offer. Our third resource inside of here is our 100 content ideas to grow your following and authority. So this has 100 fresh content ideas that will help tell your story, showcase your unique style, and connect with your audience in a meaningful way. It's a great place to start. I know coming up with content ideas can feel overwhelming. If you need help with those content ideas and just need that push and that foundation, this resource is great for that. Our fourth resource is a content calendar. I love being organized, like I said before. So this is a customizable calendar that's going to help you make planning a breeze. So it's going to help you stay organized and consistent without the stress. Next is our amazing social media goals and success trackers. So like those goals that we created at the beginning of this workshop, you can lay them out here and really backtrack and see where you are. Are you making these goals happen? Are you behind? What can you do to improve? So it's designed to help you set clear, actionable goals and stay on track each month. So you'll have a blueprint to really measure your progress and celebrate your wins. And accountability is so big when it comes to taking your social media seriously. And last but not least, we have our Polish Your Profile social media checklist. So this is a simple checklist that provides everything you need to create a profile that stands out and a profile that reflects your professionalism and captures the attention from the moment someone lands on your page. So on our last bullet that we talked about, our last point that we talked about in this workshop, it's important to keep track of all the little things that can fall behind. So if it's your bio, if you need to go through comments and respond to them, if you need to answer some DMs. So this checklist also really is your accountability buddy when it comes to social media because there's so many details that we often forget that I often forget too. And I use this checklist as well to make sure that things are in check for Relevate and in check for our clients. So you can get them all in this Kickstart kit, or you could also get them individually. They are available on Releve's website, and I can drop that link in the chat for you. But I'm really excited about these resources. People have been reaching out to us, and this is just the next step for Relevate as well to continue to help the industry with the expertise that I have and my team has as well to really keep elevating the social media space for the dance industry. So I really hope this helps. And thank you for joining me on this workshop. And I cannot wait for what is in store for you and your social media, and also what's in store next for Relevate. I'm sure we're going to have other workshops in the future. I am going to stop my share. You have some time with me left for any questions. So I'm going to stop the share, or not stop share, stop the recording. And then we can open the floor to whatever questions you have for me. Okay, that was screen sharing. Here we go.